slap the record button again, just like that. And we'll just kind of go through this with quick little commentary over it so that it's more relevant and less of just us coming in and out. You'll see what I mean more as it goes along here. But whenever you're ready, then.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Okay. Did that work? I could have swore spacebar started. Oh, it did. My bad. Okay. There it goes. All right, so I guess since this is going to be the first little bit of voiceover we got, we should probably explain to the audience what we explained in the actual video that got, well, as we can see, kind of written over a couple days. Basically, due to the fact that the soul link with random kind of fell through, I wanted to take the opportunity to do another soul link. So I found someone else who's willing to do that with me. Jaden, otherwise known as Koryth here. If you were familiar with the Spirit Island stuff, he was the guy helping me out with the tier list there. And he thought it'd be fun to do the soul link, but he's never Nuzlocked in his life. So I thought it'd be cool to do kind of like a one-on-one. We'll let him run through it. I'm just going to kind of, my idea was that I just kind of coach him through it a little bit, kind of familiarize him with some of the basics before we jump into a soul link.
Yeah.
So I left the beginning of this at normal speed for a little while, just because I didn't know how long it would take for us to talk over it here, and I wanted to make sure we got the explanation done beforehand. I didn't really go through it in my head, but apparently it didn't take nearly as long to explain it, so I'm just going to jump ahead a little bit here.
Yep, it's pretty simple. I have no idea what I'm doing. This is first Nuzlocke. So being helped through it has been nice. Learned a couple different things so far.
Yep. So we're going to cut here to first Pokemon pick. This was fun for me, because once Koryth opens the briefcase here in a second, I was like, okay, let me explain kind of what my opinions are anyways on the different starters. And I don't even get through the first one before he just selects his starter in a second. I could have swore I sped this up. Apparently I did not. After he tries to walk away without his Pokemon, he's like, no, my first encounter will be a Starly or a Bidoof.
Yes, I have no Pokeballs, but I'm going to catch it somehow. If that means dragging it to a Pokemart.
Yeah. So yeah, this is me trying to explain Turtwig. I get maybe halfway through, and he jumps over to Chimchar, which I'm just like, I'll just finish Turtwig, and I'll move on to Chimchar. And I basically finish up Turtwig right around the time he selects Piplup. And we don't even get through all of it. The bottom line is I was telling him you probably do want to pick Chimchar, because while the other two starters are great, there's only 5 total fire type lines, including Chimchar. So it's really difficult to get fire types. And as he runs into over the course of this game, I'm like, there are a boatload of water types. You don't necessarily
need... There is quite the plethora of water types.
You didn't quite need this one, although I will admit Empoleon's actually a really good Pokemon. Just Water Steel's a pretty solid type combo overall. And I left this battle in at normal speed, so you can kind of watch the first battle. This is me explaining to him that your best bet is to probably growl it once, at least to help ensure that you don't get KO'd.
So I've always been a very casual Pokemon player. Like, I didn't know what the special attack and special defense did until he explained it to me somewhere along in this first sort of session that we did. I had no idea what they did. I always just ignored them in my casual playthroughs.
Yeah. Just for the audience's sake, what was the last Pokemon game you played before Nuzlocking this one?
The last Pokemon game that I played all the way through was the Omega Ruby. I have played a very incremental fraction of is it Brilliant Diamond, I think? But just wasn't able to hold my attention.
That's because it's not platinum. So you played Omega Ruby. What was the if you even remember beyond the Omega Ruby. What was before Omega Ruby? Did you play? What would have been?
Before Omega Ruby, I played
I think it would have been
Pokemon Y.
Okay, Sword and Shield.
Before,
you hadn't played that one.
No, Sword and Shield was after. It was directly after Omega Ruby.
Okay.
Or no, after Omega Ruby was Sun and Moon, and then Sword and Shield.
Oh, right. Sorry, I meant that Brilliant Diamond one, but that's my bad. But
yeah, before Brilliant Diamond, the last one I played was Omega Ruby. Before Omega Ruby, I had played Pokemon Y. Before Pokemon Y, I had played Black 2.
Okay, so you should have theoretically been a little bit more familiar with the special, what's known as the physical special split. That's where I was talking to you about how like certain attacks are special, certain attacks are physical, certain attacks are status. They're called.
Yeah.
But yeah, before that, generations 1, 2, and 3, what was determined via special attack or attack was literally just the type. Like all fire moves, all water moves, all grass moves, yada yada yada, were all special attack. All fighting, all flying, all rock were all physical attacks. It was in Generation 4 here with the original Generation 4 where they had the physical special split that you're seeing and learning about now, where the attacks are now not split by type, but by the ability of the attack itself.
Yeah. The other thing that I got to learn in that session was what stab was. I forget what the actual acronym stands for, but...
Same type attack bonus.
Yes.
Sometimes
pretty simple
boost.
concept.
I've heard both bonus and boost.
Heard what?
I've heard it both bonus and boost. I just have used bonus since I've heard it.
Oh, yes.
Same type attack boost, same type attack bonus. It's the same thing. They're interchangeable. They're both Bs.
Yep, and pretty self-explanatory. Moves that share a type with the Pokemon generally do more.
Yeah, and then I tried to leave in some of our encounters here so you could see what we were catching as we were going through this little highlights here. And this is where I was yelling at him, like, this is why you don't attack low-level Pokemon. You just throw Pokeballs. Because he critically hit and almost killed it. You know, had this thing been level 2, or had the stats distribution between Quinn and this Bidoof been just a little bit different, he would have killed it.
Oh, it's okay, because don't forget that there's that one time later on that we'll get to where I just completely spaced that I was doing a Nuzlocke.
Yeah. All right. So I didn't really intend to leave this in here. Unfortunately, this is as fast as I could get the thing to render without just freeze framing the.
Honestly, I wish that
video.
I could play the text, like the conversation text, that fast, so that I could actually get back to the game.
Right. All right. So. Yeah, this is where I was trying to tell him, go talk to the other two guys, and if you beat them, you get a potion. He talks to literally everyone else first.
They're important people. I gotta talk to them all.
And I think it was right around this time here where you were fighting those school kids where I was trying to teach you the physical special split, because we kept using Bubble, which does get the stab bonus from Flip Flop, but it stabs from 20 power up to 30 power, and Pound was 40 power, and you only had, I think, at the time, like a 2 or 3 point difference in your attack and special attack. So I was like, just Pound does more damage. You should probably be pounding.
Yep.
All right, get our Magikarp that's all but guaranteed.
It's a fish.
It is indeed a fish.
Oh, I should have said it's official.
That actually would have been pretty good. That'd have been pretty good. All right. So we can candy up his team and get ready for the rival fight here, which I left in, obviously, because it was a very important fight. Oh, yeah, this is where I showed him you can also switch attacks around on the grid there.
Yeah, is this also where we actually went over showing me stab bonuses?
This is physical special split, stab bonus, all that stuff. Okay, so here comes the rival fight. I don't remember it being... oh, excuse me. I don't remember it being at all, like, super challenging.
No, I don't think so. I think there was only one that got a little risky, but outside of that one, there wasn't much issue anywhere else.
It takes the crit to the face. That's always fun. I think right around here is where I was explaining critical damage. And I was explaining to you right there, like, okay, it did 10 damage, so if it crits, it's going to do 20 damage. You technically, or no, it did 10 damage on a crit, so it would do 5 damage. What am I talking about? But yeah, I think that's where I was explaining crit damage to you and how you determine whether or not it's safe to stay in or not. And then...
by sort of number crunching as you go.
Yeah, and then this is not one of his finer moments, let's be honest. He has a bird with wing attack in the back, and his option is to...
Think about it. We're going to think about it a lot here.
Yeah, he's going to stay in and pound, and then hope that this thing doesn't have a grass move, which, if I recall, actually, Turtwig I don't think does have a grass move level 9, besides Leech Seed, which, while dangerous, it's not super effective. And it gets really funny here.
Didn't we also look at his moves?
Probably, but... Again, you've got a bird in the back with wing attack, and your option, well, this thing is continually withdrawing, and you do 1 damage a pound, maybe 2, but your option is like, I'm just going to man fight this. No threat here.
Yeah, it's such incremental damage.
I believe that little pause there, or no, I think it's this pause here. It's going to be a little bit longer, but I'm trying to explain, like, you should have just been switching to the bird. I wasn't going to say anything, because it's one of those things where it's like, you kind of got to learn for yourself a little bit here, but...
Yep.
Like, you have something that's super effective in the back at full HP that can two-shot this thing at the worst. Like, please switch into it.
Just got to make this video a little longer, though.
Yeah, so our next encounter here, we got Badoo. I don't know why we're hovering over the Pokeball for so long, but we are. I don't know if he was debating Premier Ball or not, but it's not worth it for a Badoo.
That or it could have just been one of our rambles.
Yeah, Psyduck in the cave above, I forget what route that is, that's north of the city, but that little cave above the city. Shinx in the route to the right-hand side of the city. I don't know the names of all these routes. And then, we were going to get a Geodude.
Yep, this is the point where I forgot that I was in a Nuzlocke.
So that was Orberg Mine. I didn't really show up, but that was Orberg Mine. So then we had to leave Orberg Mine, because it was dead route, come up here where he got Geodude again. The problem is I was really hoping he'd get Ponyta here, and he would have, I think, had a 100% chance to get it if he got the Geodude in Orberg Cave. I think Ponyta's the only other thing that's legal on that, would have been legal on this route. I'm sorry, Koryth, I had to leave that one in there. That was,
oh no, it's fine.
That was pretty embarrassing.
Over enthusiasm.
Oh, and it leads to this. I had to slow it down for this one.
I think the other worst part is that we had even discussed beforehand exactly what the plan was. And I went, fuck it, and just ran up to him and started talking.
Yeah. So he eats the flinch off the headbutt, so we don't even get a bubble in, and he is now in crit range. And this is where I'm explaining to him, like, you are dead if this thing crits. So, this is where I'm teaching him the ways of pivoting, which wouldn't look so bad, but as you can see, his team is not leveled because he forgot to candy before fighting the gym leader.
Forgot to candy. I think we were also going to have somebody else stand up front to start.
Yeah. So yeah, this was a little unfortunate. As I try and teach him, like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to have to pivot, and to pivot in this particular instance, we have to sack someone so we can get a clean switch into Badoo. And after going through his team, the obvious choice for this one was to kill Psyduck. Geodude's too valuable, Badoo's too valuable, Starly's way too valuable. Badoo has value, at least in this gym, and that's the whole point of bringing it. And then Psyduck eats a Cranidos headbutt. and dies. Not surprising. But again, like I said, this was all about getting the Badoo switch in. I do like this fight because despite everything, this was a great learning experience.
Oh, 100%. Granted, there was a bit of luck involved after several mistakes, but...
Yeah, speaking of luck, we're going to get right into the first bit of luck that you pull right here. The other thing we were going to do in this fight that we didn't do is we were going to happiness grind Badoo and make sure that you got a Roselia for the fight. But no, we apparently aren't going to do that one. We're just going to go in with a Badoo. Yep, and so this is where things get a little hectic again.
Because now we can pretty much guarantee Buddy should die here.
Yeah. So now this is us debating. Oh,
just trying to decide: do we sacrifice? Do we?
Yeah, this is us trying to decide: do we need to sack someone to get Quinn back in? Is that someone Badoo? Do we try and sack someone else? Oh man, I forgot just how much your game was lagging at this part. This is really slow. I should have sped this up a little bit more in post. That's my bad. Yeah, in the end, though, we make I opt to give him a judgment call and kind of take the wheel, so to speak. Try and get him out because I don't know what your particular call would have been. I'm not going to say it was better or worse than mine, but the oh man, this is really taking long. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here. This is where our bit of luck comes in. I did not, when I was telling him that, I did not know.
Probably.
Yeah. That's our bit of luck there. That was I was telling him, I'm like, I don't know if he's in potion range or not. Yeah. Yep. There we go. Like I said, it was an interesting fight. But we pulled through just fine. Then I don't think I left the Quinn evolution in there. I don't think it was worth it. But after this, we just ended up releasing Psyduck here. And that was our first little stint into the... Oh my god, I did leave the evolution. Why did I leave the evolution? No one cares. No one cares. All right, skip to the end. So here we go. Get rid of that stupid Psyduck. Take a Zubat, and now we have to friendship grind a bunch of stuff. So that was our first little stint into this.
Yep, and then just running around in circles.